Hi guys. In the span of next half an hour to 1 hour, I'm going to tell you about the new features in Fedena 3.3. So let me start with one of the good features. So I'm going to search a student. So student can also be searched from here. So you have to click on search students by giving the name, the first three letters of the name or the admission number. So the profile can be viewed by clicking this. And I can delete the student. So now previously, when I used to click on remove student records, it will not allow me to remove the student records in case there are any dependencies. So dependencies can be examples. Dependencies, when the student has finance records, it means the fee is scheduled for the student. He has discussion activities. It means he has participated in posts. He has appeared for exams. He has assigned elective subjects to himself, and so on. So when there are dependencies, in the previous version of Fedena, Fedena did not give us an option to delete the student. But now, as you can see, it is giving us warnings that these all are the dependencies. But if you still want to delete the student forcefully, you can click it. You can do that by clicking here. When you do that, it's going to take about 30 seconds to 1 minute. It's a scheduled job in Fedena. And when we see that scheduled job to be over here, the student will no longer be present in Fedena. So we've deleted the student completely from Fedena. So this is one of the new features in Fedena 3.3. The next new feature is in fees. So let's go to administration, finance, and fees. And here we've got some 3 good reports in Fedena. So let's see that. It is under student fees headwise report. This link is a new link that is appearing with Fedena 3.3. And here we have 3 reports. Batch-wise report, let's see this one. So I'm selecting a batch and I can select one or more courses. I'm selecting a course and I can select one or more batches in that course. And what I'm getting here is I'm getting a report of who all students are there, what is the fee collection that is applicable to them, how much amount they are left to be paid, and how much amount they have paid, and the fee particulars that are applicable to that student. And if any fee discount is applicable to the student, it will appear in the last column. So this is a report of fees for each and every student batch-wise. Another one is fee collection-wise. So we can select a batch, and if there are more than one collections for that batch, it is going to appear here, and we can select that collection, and again the same details we are going to get. So this is collection-wise. A batch can have more than one collections that are applicable. We can select that collection and see the report. The same columns are here. And the third one is student-wise. So I can search a student and I can see the details only for that student. So we can see what is the paid amount, what is the amount left to be paid, and if any particulars that are applicable for the student. It also shows all the collections that are applicable to this student. So these are the 3 types of reports that have been introduced in fees. And these reports can also be viewed by going to Data and Reports. And here you will see Student Fees Headwise Report. So the same 3 links that I was able to see in fees are available in reports as well. The next new feature in Fedena 3.3 is the remarks module. So let me show you here. Remarks can be reached by going to Academics and Remarks. Now this link that you see here, it will be available for the tutor, for the admin, and for the employee with exam management privilege. So since I've logged in as an admin, I'll be able to see this Remarks link here. So let me click on this. So using this remarks module, I can give remarks to the students of a batch. So I have to click on Add Custom Remarks. And since I'm the admin, I'm getting all the courses here. In case I'm a tutor, I'll only get a course for which I'm the tutor. So I'm going to select, let's say, one of the courses, which is Kindergarten 1. And in that course, the batches will appear and all the students will appear. And I can give custom remarks to each one of these students. For example, let me say, so let's say the student of this batch were involved in some project and I want to give project remarks as a class teacher. So this remark by field denotes the role of the employee who is giving the remarks. Subject denotes for what do you want to give remarks. So let me give some remarks like, and so on. So we can give for all the students or the students who were involved in this subject. So once I finish it, I'm going to log in as one of the students for whom I gave remark right now. And I can go to my profile. And here, under More, this link Remarks will appear. I can click on it and all the remarks that are provided to me by the tutor or the admin or anyone with employee exam management privilege will be appearing here. So in this way, students can see the remarks on particular subjects and they can see who has remarked them. And also for this employee, let me log in as one of the employees who's a tutor. So this employee also will have the remarks link and he will also be able to add custom remarks. But the difference would be that he will only see the course for which he is the tutor. So he can only remark the students for which he is the tutor, unlike the admin. So this is about the remarks module, which have been added as a core module in Fedena. And then the other new feature is we can go to examination and we can go to report center. So the reports in examination. So let's see what are the changes here. In exam-wise report, I can select the batch for which I'm the tutor. I've logged in as a tutor of that batch and I can select the exam group. And you will see that as a tutor of this batch, I can give remarks for each and every subject as well in the report sheet. So I'm given an option to add remarks for any subject and edit remarks if remarks are already given. Also, I can add overall remarks here. For example, the principal has given remarks, keep it well for the student. So remark by would be principal in this case and remarks would be keep it up. So this is the privilege for the tutor. The second change is in grouped exam reports. Again, I'll select the batch for which I'm the tutor. And here I can give overall remarks. So this is the combined report, grouped exam report. It is showing for all the grouped exam groups. I can give overall remarks here. And the third change in reports is in view transcript. So again, I'll select the batch for which I'm the tutor. And I can add remarks to the combined percentage in the transcript, which is the final report card. And also I can give overall remarks here. So these privileges are available to tutor, to the admin, and to any employee with exam management privilege. So this is about remarks module. Let me log in back as admin. So the next change or the next new enhancement that we have is in fees. Let's go to fees. And here, while collecting the fee, we have two new links, which is fee submission for each student and particular wise fee payment. So let's see this one first, fee submission for each student. I need to search the student and I will get two links. For this student, either I can do fee collection wise payment or pay all the fee collections. So let me select the first one, where I'll be asked to select the collection. So all the collections that are applicable for this student will appear. And the full fee structure for this student will appear. Since I've created discount for this student, since it's staff children, I've created discount, so it is appearing in the fee structure. Now for this student, either I can pay the full amount, which is 10500 after applying the discount, or I can even pay the partial amount. So this amount field you will see here is editable. So I can click on pay fees and this payment history will get added here. If I want to revert back this payment, let's say as an admin or finance handling person, I've made a mistake, I can revert it by clicking on this cross sign here. So this is going to delete the transaction. So rest of the amount to be paid will appear like this. And again, this amount can be paid for the student and it will change to fees paid for this student. So this is fee collection wise payment. The second link that we were getting for this student was pay all fees. So here, both the collections that were applicable for this student will appear. And since I've just paid this amount, it is showing as paid, and I can pay for the collections that are remaining. Again, it can be partial or full payment. The second link that we have is particular wise fee payment. So we have to search the student, the fee collection that is applicable, and this fee structure will appear for the student. Now for this student, you will see that I can give discounts on particulars. The total applicable discount for this student is 500. And this 500, I can distribute it in one of the particulars fully or amongst the particulars that I have here. So let me show an example. So this is the tuition fee amount that I should be paying, which is 6,000. And on 6,000, I want to pay discount of 250 here. So total applicable discount now is 250 and applied discount is 250. Which means I've used 250 out of 500, which was the total discount on this particular. Now let's say I want to distribute it in registration fee also. So I can give 5,000, which is the full registration fee, and I can distribute the rest of the discount here. So the discount applied now becomes 500. Amount to pay is 0 if I pay this 10500 completely. So this is actually the remaining amount to pay. So proper discount names can also be given for each particular. You can also put full amount for one particular. That is also acceptable. Now you will see that this field here is editable, but I have written the same amount. This means that Actually, you can even pay partial amount of tuition fee and apply the discount. So in that case, after you pay this 9,500, the left amount to be paid would be 1,000. So let me do this transaction. So you can see I have paid 9,500 by applying 500 as a discount in each of the particular, but for tuition fee, 1,000 is left to be paid, which can again be paid later on. So this is particular wise payment and how discounts can be applied. So after this, the new enhancements that we have is in inventory. So in inventory, first we have when we are creating the store, it asks for invoice prefix. So this is a new field that is added with Fedena 3.3. Invoice prefix will be appearing in the bills that you generate from your store. For example, I've created a store called Pantry and I've given invoice prefix as PAN. So whenever I sell an item in Pantry to the employees or the students or the parents, I will be generating an invoice, and that invoice would be prefixed by PAN. So invoices numbers would be PAN 001 for the first one, PAN 002 and so on. So this is that invoice prefix. As you can see, it is not a mandatory field. If you do not give it, by default, it will be INV for all the stores. So this was the first change. Then we have item category. So this is a new link that is an enhancement with Fedena 3.3. So here we need to tell what all are the categories of item in the store. For example, I'm creating beverages as one of the category and giving some code. Packed as another category and giving some code. This will be helpful when we are going to sell an item in a store. So let's see that next. While creating the store item, this is a new field that you will see which is sellable. This new field comes with Fedena 3.3. So let me show you for an already existing store item. How can we create a new store item which is sellable? For example, items that are sellable in your canteen. We are going to create that. For example, for pantry, I already have one item. I'll show you how I created. So you have to select the store. We have to give the name of the item, some code. What is the quantity that you want? What is the unit price? Tax, if any, and the batch number. And this sellable, if you make this item sellable, it is going to ask you for the item category that we just created. So we can select the appropriate item category and save it. So these items I'll be able to sell from my pantry store. So now let's see how to do that. After I've added sellable items in pantry store, I can go to billing, which is a new link in Fedena 3.3. And here I'm going to click on new. And this is an invoice that I'm generating which I can issue to the buyer. So the store which has sellable items are going to appear. Who am I issuing the item to? So let's say it can be a parent, it can be a student, or it can also be an employee. Let me issue it to a student. So the name of the student will automatically appear. If you want to put the address, you can put it here. And what is the item that the student is buying from your store? So you can write the first three letters and this is going to appear. And how much quantity are you issuing? That can also be mentioned here. If more than one different items are to be issued to this student, you can add a new item by clicking this. And you will see the invoice number is automatically coming here. It is non-editable. And since it is a pantry store and I gave the invoice prefix as PAN, so it is automatically coming as PAN008 because this is the 8th invoice that I'm generating. If any additional charges are there on this item for this student, you can add them here and they will be added to the total amount. If any discounts are applicable, you can add the discount here. Is paid denotes the student is paying you the amount and you will not be able to edit this invoice after the amount is paid. So if you make this is paid and save it, you will see that in the list of invoices for the store, it is not editable. PAN008 is not editable, whereas PAN006, which I earlier created and I did not tick on is paid, is editable. So I can edit it. So before someone is paying you for the purchase that he's making, you can edit the invoice. Otherwise, you cannot edit the invoice. So we can see the list of invoices like this here. And we can see the invoice number. On selecting the invoice number, we'll also get the full invoice which can be printed and issued to the student or the employee or the parent who is buying from the store. Then we have reports. And in reports, the sales report is a new feature in Fedena 3.3. So let's see the 3 links in the sales report. We have item-wise report. So we can select the store and we can select what category of item did you sell. We can select the duration and we can select the status, whether it was paid or unpaid, or we want to see all the items. So you can see this is what has been sold for today. What is the total amount that is coming as an income for the institution in inventory. The second report is day-wise report. It can be for a particular duration. And we can see all the unpaid invoices or all the paid invoices or all of them. So within this particular duration, it is going to show us all the items that have been sold in this store, whether paid or unpaid. So after this, we have invoice report. So invoice report, we can see all the invoices with the numbers. And by clicking on the invoice, we can see who bought and on what date and what was the item. So this is full. These are all the changes that have been done in inventory. Now another new feature is in settings, general settings, and the theme in Fedena. So all these colors are available, which you can select, and when you choose this color, the theme of Fedena changes. And along with this comes the font change. So all these fonts are supported in Fedena. It can be selected and it is going to change the font of Fedena. Then we have the major enhancement, which is ICSC. So let's see that. So first thing is that in settings, in include grading systems, if any of the courses is following ICSC, it has to be selected from here. Then while creating the course, so in manage course batch, while creating the course, for example, I already have the standard one which is following ICSC, you need to select the grading system as ICSC. And then we are going to do some settings for ICSC. So we need to go to academics, examination, and settings. So the first thing is we need to check the grading levels. So these common grading levels, they might be applicable for your ICSE course. If they are not, you can edit them here. You can also edit them for the course that is following by adding grades. That is following ICSE by adding grades here. So let's assume that this S1A 2014, which is my course, which is my batch that follows ICSE, it is following the common grading level, which means that A is for 90 and above, B is for 80 to 90, C is for 70 to 80, and so on. So first thing is grading levels are to be set. The second thing that you have to do for ICSE is do the ICSE settings. Now here, first we have to set the exam categories. So generally in ICSE there would be two terms, term 1 and term 2. Now you have to click on new. Name you have to give here term 1. I've already created term 1. Give some description. And do you want a detailed student report, which means do you want to show internal assessment and external assessment both differently in the report of the student? If you want that, you can select yes here. If you do not want to show internal assessment and external assessment together, you can select no. So this is the one, this affects the reports in turn. For example, for me I've selected yes, and I'll show you how the report will differ if I select no. So the terms, we are just creating the terms here. Then we need to create ICSE weightages. So I'll just show you how to create ICSE weightage for normal subjects. Now ICSE will have normal subjects, which are mandatory subjects, co-curricular subjects, and electives. In Fedena, co-curricular subjects should be created as normal subjects. I'll just show you that. So I'm going to show you the course subject structure of this course which follows ICSE. So this is my batch that follows ICSE. I have these subjects and I also have a co-curricular subject here. The normal subjects generally have 80-20 weightage, which means that for internal assessment, the weightage is 20. For external assessment, the weightage is 80 for each subject. For co-curricular subject, the internal assessment weightage is 100 and external assessment weightage is 0. So these are the general scenarios that I'm telling you. It may vary depending on the institutions. So now let me go back to examination. And in examination settings, ICSE settings, ICSE weightages. So here I'm creating normal subject weightages as I told you, which is EA 80 and IA 20. I made here differently for primary because sometimes, generally, for primary only grades are required to be shown. So you can select primary normal subject, you can create primary normal subject and select the mark type to be only grade. For grades 1 to 4, we call it as primary. 5 onwards, we call it as normal. So since it is for normal subjects besides co-curricular, because co-curricular will have 100 IA weightage, so I am selecting co-curricular as no. So after this, I need to create for co-curricular separately because the weightage type is different. So I'll show you how I've created for this co-curricular subject. So I'm giving it a proper name. It can be any appropriate name. And you can see EA weightage is 0 and IA weightage is 100. And since it is primary, I can select here grade report mark type to be grade. And since this is for co-curricular subjects, I'm selecting yes here. So for normal subjects and co-curricular subjects, this has to be done for each term. So I've done this for term 1, and similarly, I have to do the same for term 2. And this is for upper primary, because in upper primary, I will be selecting, the only difference would be I'll be selecting grade and mark instead of only grade. So this is how weightages can be created in ICSE. Now after creating weightages, we need to assign these weightages to each subject. So for normal subject, I am going to assign primary normal subject weightage for term 1, primary normal subject weightage for term 2. And for co-curricular subject, I am going to assign primary co-curricular subject for term 1 and primary co-curricular subject for term 2. So let's see how to do that. We need to go to assign weightages. Select the course. So all the courses that follow ICSE will be appearing here. So I'm selecting the course. For this normal subject which I have, I'm assigning primary normal subject term 1, primary normal subject term 2. So these are the weightages that I just created. It means for English 1, 80% EA and 20% IA will be applicable for term 1, and similarly for term 2. So in this way, for the normal subjects, I'm going to select the weightages that are applicable, and for co-curricular, which was music, I'm going to select primary co-curricular subject term 1 and primary co-curricular subject term 2. Because internal assessment is 100 in both the terms. So in this way, weightages have to be assigned to all the subjects of a course. After assignment of weightages is done, we have to create IA groups. It means in that 20%, what all will be there. For example, I'm going to give internal assessment group 1 for term 1 as the name of the group, and it had 20% weightage. So there, what all will contribute in that 20%. So this is for term 1. So let's say practicals, projects, and activity-based learning are the indicators that I've added. One or more indicators can be added by clicking this. And here you need to give some indicator. It can be any character. Because later on, while calculating that 20% or the final marks, we need to use a formula using these indicators. So you can see I'm taking best of A, B, C as a score or as a formula for internal assessment in term 1. So if a student is scoring 20, 30 and 50, 20 here in practicals, 30 here in projects and 50 in activity-based learning, and if this is the formula that I'm using, 50 would be the final marks in IA in term 1 for that student, which will be further fractioned down 20% for the normal subject. And these formulas, you can see from here, the explanation of the formula again varies. The formula here varies with the institution. Some institutions might take averages, some institutions might take best of the subjects. So this is about how IA exam groups can be created. So I have done the same for term 2. But here, instead of taking best, I am taking average. Internal assessment can again be subject based because each subject will have different criteria. Some subjects might have practical, some subjects might have projects. So those many IA groups must be created. I have generally created only 2 for all the subjects. But this might not be the case because every subject might have different criteria of IA evaluation. So IA groups need to be created based on the subjects. Once you've done that, you have to assign this IA group to each subject the way we did for assigning ICSE weightages. So I'm going to select the course, select the subject, and what are the IA groups that are available, that are applicable for this subject. So if I would have created IA groups dependent on subjects, I can give that appropriate name here and select them for this subject. So this way, assignment has to be done for each and every subject for this course. So this is all about ICSE settings that are to be done. And after this, we need to create exams. Exam creation is normal as we generally do. We have to select the course, select the batch, and click on new and create the exam. So I've already created term 1 and term 2. Now you will realize that when on clicking on new, it is going to ask for ICSE exam category which we created. This is how it will be able to relate. So I've created term 1 and these subjects will appear. And let's say I've scheduled this exam, so I'll be able to enter marks for each subject. And since that batch has only one student, it is appearing like this. I can enter these marks. So these are the external assessment marks that have to be entered here. And for IA scores, which is associated with each subject, which is English 1 in this case, I have to click on this and enter those marks. So you can see the 3 indicators that I created in IA group are appearing here. It means for English, these are the 3 indicators using which I am evaluating the student for internal assessment. And since I am taking best for term 1, so 90 will be considered for the student and it will be fractioned down by 20 because IA weightage is 20 and EA weightage is 80. So this way all the subjects will have external assessment marks here and internal assessment marks to be entered here. Once this is done for both the terms, results should be published. And once the result is published, we can see the reports. To view the reports, we have to go to Report Center. And for ICSE, the reports will be available only in this link, which is ICSE reports. So there are 3 reports that are available. Let's see that. Now, like we do for normal exams in Fedena, first thing is we need to generate the reports. And generation of reports will take about 30 seconds to 1 minute in Fedena because it deals with a lot of students with internal assessment weightages, external assessment weightages, and so on. So first step is to generate the reports, and then we are going to see the 3 types of reports that are available for ICSE. So let's see that. So here I'm going to click on Generate Reports. Select the course for which I want to generate report. And as I told you, it is going to take some time for the report to get generated. And once it is done, I'll be able to see the report, which is student report. So here you can see for this student, since I've already added all the marks and IA, EA and total, they are visible separately because I've selected detailed student report to be yes while creating ICSE exam terms. If you select it to be no, only this total field here will be appearing for term 1 and similarly total field will be appearing for term 2. And since I've selected marks and grade option, so marks and grades are appearing. If I only select grades, which is generally requirement for grade 1 to grade 4, only grades will be appearing. And since music, which is a co-curricular subject, there is no external assessment, so it is not showing, there's no weightage for external assessment, so it is not showing anything here. Again, general remarks can be added by the admin or the tutor or anyone with exam management privilege. I can get a PDF for the CSV report of this as well. So this is student-wise report. Another one would be subject-wise. So I can select this course, can select the batch, the subject for which I want to see the report, and do I want to see only internal, external, internal and external, detailed internal and external. So it is giving you all these options which can be selected. And on clicking on view, it is going to show you based on what you selected. So it is only showing the internal marks for term 1 and term 2 for this subject, English, for this student. So this is subject-wise report. And the third one we have is consolidated report. So here, report type can again be only total, internal or external. So let me select the filters appropriately and see a report. So this is how the report will look like for one student if I want a consolidated report. So it is only showing for as per the exam group. I can even select all to see for both the exam groups. So this is about ICSE, which is a new module in Fedena 3.3.